Hi, this is David Armstrong with another edition of the Musical Theater Factory. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the set design for Saving Aimee, our brand new musical that is we're in rehearsals right now, and we'll begin performances late next week, and we'll run into October. It's another of our amazing brand new premiere musicals that we have had such success with here at the Fifth Avenue that our audiences look so forward to, because once again this will be our Seattle audience will be the first people to see this show and to experience this incredible production before it goes on to who knows where. We'll see what the next step is for it, but it is definitely a one-of-a-kind experience. The design for the show is, we looked at the model on a previous video blog, but I wanted to show you one specific scene that we'll look at here. Aimee Semple McPherson, one of the things she was known for in her sort of revolutionizing and her controversial new way of spreading the word, of being an evangelist, was that she did these illustrated sermons. And they were lavish, sort of spectacular, really theatrical productions. Charlie Chaplin would help her design the sets and costumes for them. She would put on basically a Broadway show every Sunday with a new one each week, and there would be hundreds of people that would work on these shows to build the costumes and the sets, and she eventually had actors and singers in them. She actually also wrote two operas, two big theatrical productions that she produced. So people have always called her sort of the P.T. Barnum of the pulpit, or sort of Ziegfeld of religion, and I think that's very true. So we've tried to capture that in the show, and we see three of those illustrated sermons, which I think are going to be quite fun and fairly humorous as well. The one we're going to look at today is for the Adam and Eve sequence. So in our overall set, you can see here, we have a sort of the essence of Angelus Temple, which is the church that Aimee built and is still there in Los Angeles. This doesn't look anything like the actual Angelus Temple, but our concept was to give the audience what we think the impression of that building was on people in the 1920s, as opposed to what it might look like to us today. We have this mini proscenium that flies in with its own curtain, which is the stage for these illustrated sermons. And it has its own little show curtain that will fly out, and hopefully I won't knock everything over as I do it. And as the curtain flies out, it reveals the set for the Garden of Eden. We have Adam and Eve, and Adam is played by an actor named Ed Watts, as playing the character of David Hutton, who becomes Aimee's third husband. This is the first time we see him, and we see a lot of him in this scene. And Eve is played by Billie Wildrick. You've seen her in many of our productions. And one of the things that Aimee was known for was sort of pushing the boundaries and making things, sort of bringing the crowd in through these very theatrical and sometimes provocative means. And putting Adam and Eve on stage was one of the things that in a way she was pushing the boundary. It's interesting because there was an article in the New York Times just today about Mark Twain did one of his actually quite famous short stories called the Diary of Eve, was banned from a library. I forget which city it was in, but they just reinstated it just today. And it's interesting that the Adam and Eve story can be controversial because of, and the reason they banned it is because there were very tasteful illustrations of Eve naked, and it just occurred to me that that's not unrelated to what we're doing in our show and sort of Aimee's provocation with this kind of thing. Coincidentally, the Diary of Eve was the basis for a musical called The Apple Tree. The first act of that show, it's a 3-act musical, wonderful show by Bach and Harnack, who wrote Fiddler on the Roof, and they were inspired by Mark Twain to write an Adam and Eve musical. Anyway, that's not the show we're doing today. This is from Saving Aimee, and this is our scene for the Garden of Eden. It's only one of 3 spectacular scenes, and the whole show is going to be amazingly spectacular. Walt Spangler is our set designer, and he's done a fantastic job. I can't wait for you to see the show and to see what we've done with the rest of the scenes. Thanks so much. Once again, come back and join us on the Musical Theater Factory.